Hello there. Do you like talking about spoilers in comment sections on YouTube videos? I sure do. But did you know that there are some people who are watching this YouTube series who may never have played Kingdom Hearts 2 before and don't want to receive spoilers for this game or any other future games in the series? Well, there's an easy way to step around this issue. If you're going to be leaving a spoiler-filled comment, just go ahead and type in the word spoilers and whichever game in the series you'll be spoiling, hit enter a bunch of times and then spoil away. That way, for people to read your comment, they'll have to click the read more message on the comment itself, and otherwise the text will be blocked from their innocent virgin eyes. Just so none of you try and get clever about this, I will be very clear. If it hasn't happened yet in this series of videos, it is considered a spoiler. However, if it happens in the particular video that you're commenting on, then go ahead. As far as I'm concerned, if somebody decides to explore the comment section before they've even finished the video, then they are choosing to swim in dangerous waters. That's, at that point, they're taking the risk upon themselves. So if it happens in the current episode, you can comment about it, but if it hasn't happened yet, please follow these procedures to help protect people from potential spoilers. Anyway, let's continue with our regularly scheduled programming. Joey, you know what I realized while we were off for a second there? In a time-honored tradition for our Kingdom Hearts LPs, we forgot to read the secret Ansem report.
Oh no!
So, let's go read the secret Ansem report number 2. Secret Ansem report number 2. I have made a grave mistake.
Oh, really?
My study of the darkness of the heart began with a simple psychological test and quickly snowballed. Spurred on by my youngest apprentice, Ienzo, I constructed a massive laboratory in the basement beneath my castle. Unbeknownst to me, my 6 apprentices then began collecting a large number of subjects on which to perform dangerous experiments into the darkness of the heart.
Oh boy, so we're already introduced to there's more than, it wasn't just him. Look at all these people. I wonder if they became nobodies.
Joey.
What?
Joey,
What?
You're going, oh, I know where this is going. I get where this is
don't?
going. We're introducing new characters who were a part of the scheme, right, to carry on.
Yeah.
Since we got rid of this character, seemingly. You have vastly underestimated. You have vastly underestimated this.
Oh boy. Alright, I hope I'm wrong. Let's do this.
Oh, you're partially, what you're saying is at least partially right.
Okay.
But you're underestimating.
Good.
Okay, unbeknownst to me, my 6 apprentices then began collecting a large number of subjects upon which to perform dangerous experiments in the darkness of the heart. As soon as I found out, I called my apprentices together and ordered them not only to cease their studies, but to destroy the results of their research thus far. Well, that sounds out of character for the Ansem that we know, does it not?
Oh no.
What on earth was happening within the hearts of my 6 beloved apprentices? While pursuing the mystery of the darkness of the heart, could they themselves have strayed into its depths? Yet I remain the most foolish of all for having begun these experiments. We are not meant to interfere in the depths of another's heart, no matter what our reasons for doing so. This is very out of character for Ansem. Then I plunged and my error plunged me into despair. A visitor from another world soothed my dejected soul. The tiny king named Mickey came wielding a legendary key, the infamous Keyblade, said to bring both chaos and prosperity to the world, as King Triton told us in the last game.
Yeah.
He was very knowledgeable on many topics, and we deepened our friendship as we conversed companionably. Upon his advice, I decided to review the data obtained at my basement lab. That was when I discovered the Ansem reports. Though they bore my name, the only one I had written was number 0. Now, really fast, that's a translation error. In the original version of Kingdom Hearts 1, instead of starting with 1, it started with 0, and then in the English translation, they started it with 1 because we're not Japanese, we're not animals here. So that's, I apologize. But then when they translated this game, they forgot they made that change, so they translated it as 0. So, Ansem Report 1, though they bore my name, the only one I had written was number 1. Apparently, he had gone on to pen numbers 1 through 8 himself. Yes, the first subject in my foolish experiments.
Oh, I get it.
Do you get it?
I don't get it.
I was afraid you were going to go with that. Do you want me to give you a little bit of guidance here, Joey, as to what exactly is being told to you?
Sure.
The person penning this report is Ansem, the man we were told about previously, the king of Hollow Bastion, right?
Yeah.
We played a game where we were told there's this wise king named Ansem. He was studying the Heartless. Then we find out that he wasn't as benevolent as Leon and his other subjects have been led to believe. He was actually kidnapping people and murdering them, right?
Yeah.
That was the story. Was is the emphasis here. Now we're doing a big-time retcon.
Oh,
And as it turns out, King Ansem was benevolent and didn't want to do the experiments. But he, whoever he is, wrote those reports under a false identity, and he was the man we fought in Kingdom Hearts 1. Someone else operating under the name Ansem.
So does this Ansem, the Diz Ansem?
Diz Ansem, what are you talking
The
about?
Ansem that was talking to Diz.
Oh,
Is that?
I don't know, Joey. I don't know.
Oh, jeez. Alright. This is good. This is fine. Oh, that's...
This is not fine. God is angry.
Yeah.
If I don't know if that came through on the mic or not, but there was a very loud thunderclap right
Oh,
outside. Ha.
But it kills me that it's secret Ansem report.
It's a secret
Son of a gun.
Ansem report.
God.
Whee! Let's go play video games.
I don't wanna.
I promise you, it gets good. It gets better. We are very close to the video game becoming fun. I don't know, the combat's fun. You've had fun with combat. Mashy,
Yeah.
mashy, jumpy, jumpy. Kill,
Yeah.
kill, kill.
Yeah. By the way, I do want to note that you were right, and so I'm sure it's going to get more difficult, but this does not feel like a game that started out on the most difficult setting.
Right?
This feels like, well, like this is the same difficulty as the first game so far, from what it feels like. I'm sure it's going to change when things get more complicated and I get more transformation Maho Shoujo magical girl outfits.
Your outfits aren't too magical, girl. I think Fusion Dance from Dragon Ball is probably a better example, but I'm not familiar with Dragon Ball. I've just heard people use that example more.
Probably.
What are we looking at, Leon?
Whoa.
We want
What is
to restore
that?
Hollow Bastion to what it used to be.
So the PS2 is failing to show us what that's supposed to be. That huge black goo with yellow dots in it is supposed to be a sea of Heartless with glowing yellow eyes.
Oh.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Okay. I was going to guess oil.
The Shinra Corporation.
Oh no.
Even something better.
He was saying we want to build Hollow Bastion to be something as good as it
I'm sure
was,
we can
maybe even
handle
better.
Everything. Except for that.
That was a weird delivery.
That was
Shouldn't
a
it be
very
except for that.
Question mark? That?
Except for that?
And that.
Oh, okay. Okay, the loading screen just cut it off. It was that and that. My bad. I shouldn't have assumed. I should have let the loading screen play itself out.
We'll handle them.
Well, that's
The
good to
entire
hear.
army of them?
Yeah, why not?
So, Sora, do you know what's going on then?
There's this guy, Pete, who's been going around plotting with the Heartless. But he's not smart enough to tie his own shoes. The ones we need to worry about are the nobodies.
And those Organization 13 guys in charge, too.
You called?
Oh? Nani?
Shoot, I was about to say that. You stole my thunder.
You're doing well.
I was waiting for like an on-cue thunderclap
I
outside.
was
This
hoping.
calls for a celebration.
Defeat all the nobodies while protecting the gates. The gates have a health bar. You gotta beat up the nobodies and stop them from getting through the gate.
Okay, cool. Cool beans. Cool stuff.
Yeah. Because we don't want them to get into the town. Even though they can teleport anywhere. They gotta go through this gate. Whatever. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Maybe there's some magical force field that stops them from teleporting in.
Probably right.
Ooh, Leon was shooting stuff with fireballs.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, quite a few. Uh-oh. He's gonna get you. You almost killed him.
Where's
He's all-
Donald and Goofy?
They ran off to fight some other stuff at another location.
Cool. Oh, this is, oh no, there's a lot of those samurai dudes. How much gate? Oh, okay. I
They
see
took
HP
they took a bit of gate. They hadn't actually attacked it until like that second. Even though they were all hanging out there, they hadn't hit it yet. Donald and Goofy went to go fight something else, and then you came back here to fight with Leon.
Okay. Yeah, leave them together. That's gonna do a whole lot of good.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, there you go. L1 and there you go. I was like, does he remember?
Yeah.
Should I help?
Just barely. It's been a while.
It's fine. I get it.
I should focus on the gate right now.
Probably. Might be a good idea. Though I don't think it'll be that big of a problem. This is not, again, we're not into the really hard stuff yet. I say that there are still some enemies that we're gonna encounter relatively soon who do have the potential to one-shot you on critical, but I mean, like, it's just if you pay attention, you know, and dodge AoE stuff, you're mostly okay.
Oh man, I mean, I am racking up.
Ooh, and we got fire as well.
Cool.
So now you can equip fire as well. So fire, well, I'll talk about fire. Well, no, I won't. Well, actually not. I'll talk about fire some other time. Because we're going to stop in a few seconds here, because we're going to get some cutscenes, and we're going to stop for the evening.
The Keyblade, a truly marvelous weapon. Were it only in more capable hands.
You can put that down. We're going to be here for a minute.
Oh, are we getting introductions?
I'm reminded of David Cage's game. Like, do you think that's a game you're playing? Put that controller down.
No, you can't in a David Cage game, though, because the cutscene, the QTEs will come anytime.
So what we're hearing right now is the Organization 13 theme, which is also quite a good piece of music.
Organization 13!
Good. Now we can settle this.
What a shame. And here I thought we could be friends.
Stop!
Yes, Donald, they teleported. That's how that works.
What's the big idea?
Oopsie daisy.
Move!
Now, do you think that's polite? Shutting me down like that?
I said get out of the way!
As if. You can talk all you want, but that won't change a thing.
Then we are gonna make you move.
See, that would work if I were just any old dude. Except I'm not. I'm with the organization. Nothing any old about me.
Huh. Tough talk for someone who stood on the sidelines while his nobody flunkies did the fighting.
Oh dear. I think you got the wrong impression.
You gonna cry?
As if. Why don't I remind you how tough the crowd you're dealing with really is?
Remind me?
That's right! You used to give me that same exact look.
I guess you think you can psych me out by saying really random stuff.
Gee, I just don't know. Be a good boy now.
At least pull your hood back.
No, Joey, that's not gonna happen.
I'm not gonna remember his voice the
Who
next
gave
time
him
he's
the same
introduced.
You know?
Right? No, for real, because like that guy is clearly like they bothered to show that for a reason.
Yeah.
And he had like, I don't know if you would agree or not. He has a pretty good voice actor, and he had some pretty good dialogue there.
Yeah.
Good physical performance.
But it's like, even if we weren't gonna be leaving in a second, like in a normal playthrough, I'm assuming he doesn't come back for a while.
And will you remember his voice?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I can tell you right now that the gentleman under that hood is not someone that you've seen before. So if they could just take it off so you could go, oh wow, what a great OC. I'll remember this guy's face.
Ugh.
Sorry.
Oh, I think he was just trying to confuse you.
Yeah, you're right. Only one me.
Yeah?
The Hollow Bastion Restoration Committee honorary member.
Yeah?
Wow.
Cool.
Huh?
What's this? Gorge, you think?
Just wait. Contain your confusion, Joey. All will be answered momentarily. You see, Joey, it's a recycled ending of a show and anime animation loop that we can reuse in each episode to save costs.
Wait, are we really just sealing it up?
No. No, we're not sealing anything up, Joey.
That's not to say.
Shh.
Okay, I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Why
and
don't you
watch
just
this.
Why don't you just wait? Let the video game explain itself to you.
Oh, now I get it.
I'm glad you do.
That must have been the gate Yen Sid talked about.
Oh boy!
Sorry to run, Leon. But other worlds are calling.
Organization 13. They look tough. Be careful out there.
He says we need to run off, but didn't we just say that we were going to take care of the big problem on this planet?
Yeah. We'll be back though. Or Hollow Bastion is kind of like the hub of this game. Or Hollow Bastion is. So you remember how in Kingdom Hearts 1 we we would beat Jafar or Oogie Boogie, who had been given reports by Maleficent, and we'd grab them, or like we'd come to the library afterwards, and Aerith would be like, "Hey, we found the rest of them." No, you just kind of get them whenever. This is when the game decided it's time for you to get this information or that information. I think this is also a new Final Mix scene. Yes, it is. This is new.
Do my eyes deceive me? Does he really have the power to wield the Keyblade? He's nothing but a boy.
Give him a chance. It means he's straight as an arrow. He's pure of heart, unlike all of us here.
He had better be, or else he's worthless.
I truly hope he's enjoying himself on his adventure. Maybe he'd like a hand to determine his fate.
Hey, as long as it works in our favor, we can let him do what he wants for now. Then we'll all jump in if needed.
Those are bold words coming from you. Are you saying you'll volunteer to take care of it if things go wrong? Huh?
What? Me? No, you have the wrong guy. I'm not comfortable with that.
You act as though you have a conscience. When was the last time any one of us felt anything?
Truer words were never spoken. Well, I suppose the fun will have to wait.
Do you know what happens to those who lose their true purpose? Inevitably, they destroy themselves.
Gentlemen,
As I'll say, that's the voice of the big boss.
That's the big boss.
The hero of the Keyblade has embarked on a new adventure. Make sure it is one he will remember.
Until there's another plot where he loses his memories. That's another new transformation sequence. Maybe not.
No, it was kind of the same. It was just slightly different effect because they were sitting in those chairs.
I guess
So like
so.
it was like the bottom of it was mapped to the front of their chair instead of their seat. It's kind of weird.
What happened to Twilight Town?
Oh no! We can't go back to Twilight Town? Oh no. Why was Jacob telling you to get all those treasure chests? Use the left stick to fly the gummy ship. Try approaching the door-shaped thingy for a gummy route, whatever. These are just the things that... So you remember how in the previous game you had to like pick a destination and fly, right? Like go wherever.
Yeah.
And you had to like fly along a path.
You can't even get on the menu here.
Yes, well you can't get to the item menu and stuff, and you go to the journal and you can save.
Oh, well, the good journal,
Yes.
because we got...
We should go ahead and read that Ansem report. We should go to Jiminy Cricket for that, and it's the first thing at the top. Number 7. While beings born of darkness and those lacking hearts may find them convenient, it is dangerous for others to make much use of the corridors of darkness. Darkness erodes the heart. These are the... I think I described them to you in Chain of Memories. Those are the portals that the nobodies... were going through, and those are the coats that Diz gave to Riku and Mickey and said, these will protect you when you use those, because they'll stop the darkness from getting at you. In search of a place to proceed with my research and planning away from prying eyes, I found myself in Twilight Town. It is a quiet village, forgotten in the chasm between light and darkness. I situated myself in the basement of an abandoned mansion standing beyond the woods. My underground research resulted in one new discovery after another. When a Heartless is born, the body and soul left behind are reborn into this world as a different being. They possess different intentions than their Heartless brethren, and while it is unclear what these sentient things are after, it would appear that they are responsible for much bedlam in the world. Is that how you pronounce that? I think so.
Probably.
My erstwhile friend, the king, and
Erstwhile?
Yeah, erstwhile.
Never heard that word.
Whatever. My erstwhile friend, the king, and his subjects, I do know how you pronounce that one, along with a hero wielding the Keyblade, are battling the Heartless, and even as a new threat approaches. This new threat...
Hang on, are battling?
I think this was written more at the time frame of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Okay, that's weird. Okay.
I think this was written during the time period of Kingdom Hearts 1. Because, I mean, like, obviously all that stuff with Ansem doing experiments happened, like, 10 years ago. So that number 2 had to have been written, like, at least 10 years ago. I think this was written more recently.
Okay.
They are battling the Heartless even as a new threat approaches. This new threat, they have given themselves a fitting name, I suppose. These non-beings. Nobodies. A great number of nobodies have lost human form, and yet, as have the Heartless. Yet the nobody born of someone with a strong heart retains its shape, but with the faintest visible changes. It appears my betrayers have retained their human forms as nobodies, as you suspected, and are gathering more followers in hopes of furthering a new scheme. Organization 13, formed of 13 nobodies with my betrayers at its core, has divided into 2. They are said to be carrying out some sort of research. So this is before Chain of Memories, because they're split up in two setups.
Yeah.
Seeking to uncover the plans of this organization, I decided to head for where 6 of its members have gathered, towering over the outer limits of the realm between light and darkness, Castle Oblivion. Now, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to, like, point you in any direction that I shouldn't, but are you getting anything from that?
Castle Oblivion.
Well, it opened with him saying that he set up a research lab in the basement of a mansion in Twilight Town,
yeah.
And then it also said that he headed for Castle Oblivion.
Okay. The pieces are there, but I don't have a big revelation yet.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna push anything, but whatever. I'm very tempted to because I kind of want to make a point, but whatever. I'll hold off. I will hold off. Anyway, really fast, before we continue.
I just don't want to be doing any baseless speculation at this
point.
Fair.
That's fair, because these games are so ridiculous that sometimes guessing at things is, like, pointless, because they can just introduce new... Like, hey, that thing where we just shot the laser beam, that was... We found... So, this game's structure is going to be a little bit different now. You remember in the last game how, like, we were like, we've got to go find the keyholes to save worlds from being destroyed? Guess what, Joey? You'll never see us seal another keyhole ever again in this freaking franchise.
Okay.
You would think that would be, like, the most important thing that anybody has ever done.
It obviously didn't work. Not well.
Well, no. You're forgetting. The keyholes are, like, we're gonna lock the heart of a world so the Heartless can't get to it.
Exactly.
That's what that is.
Okay.
Even if, like, the Heartless can still land on a world, like, after we fixed Wonderland or, you know, Olympus Coliseum or wherever else, Heartless were still there, but the point was once we sealed their keyhole, the world couldn't be totally destroyed.
Yeah.
Right? You remember this. It seems to me as if this would probably be one of the most important things that someone with a Keyblade could go around doing.
Dude. No time.
So, in addition to that, after we spent the first game going, oh, the paths between worlds are bad, we're going to close them to stop the Heartless from getting around. Every single world we go to, we're going to find some little arbitrary thing. It's going to be like, ooh, it sparkled. And we'll get that show in anime, and he shoots a laser beam at it, and that's opening a path to new worlds, which is the most reckless thing that we could possibly be doing.
I actually thought we were sealing.
Nope, we were opening.
That's bad. That's real bad.
The game doesn't care. They've forgotten about the rules they established in KH1, so, like, who gives a damn anymore, I guess? Except for me. I guess I'm the only one who cares, but yeah. So we have these little routes we have to go through. We can't land on the worlds until we go through these little courses here that we have set up for us. So we've got a world here, we've got a world here, we can go to them in whatever order we want, and some other one over here that is still mysterious to us.
Okay.
Now, we're almost done here for the night, Joey. We're not going to start any of these other worlds.
Okay.
I've just saved the game. But you see, now that we've gotten to a certain point, it's finally time for me to talk about the whole Roxas sequence in slightly greater detail.
Okay.
I specifically want to talk about that bit with Kairi. The little scene where we saw her on Destiny Islands in the school uniform and she talked with Selphie and whatnot. Now, obviously, in that scene, she talked about how she'd forgotten Sora, and it was sad, but you were a touch confused initially, right?
Yeah.
Because it kind of throws you into it, and then just as you got a grasp of the situation, it's resolved. It's a little bit odd. Now, this whole forgetting Sora thing, I don't really get it. It's got something to do with how all memories are linked, and so since Naminé undid the chain of Sora's memories, she unlinked that chain that was connected to everyone else.
Sure.
So they also all forgot, which is nonsense for a couple of reasons that are unimportant. But you may have noticed, like, Diz and Naminé said of herself that, like, they've changed the plot a little bit. In Chain of Memories, they were like, I have the power to manipulate memories.
Yeah.
And in this, they were like, she has the power to manipulate the memories of Sora and those connected to him. So her powers have become very limited to Sora and people who are his buddies, essentially. Which is not... whatever. The other reason why it doesn't make sense is, like, Sora's memories had already been screwed up beyond belief by the end of Chain of Memories, right?
Yeah.
Why did Riku still remember everything perfectly in Chain of Memories?
Yeah.
Is it maybe they came up with this plot point later? Which is weird, because they actually played... You can see they planned the Chain of Memories in two, like, in sync, in a lot of areas. But anyway, now I think that scene with Kairi taken on its own is pretty good, like I said. But the problem is that the entire plot point about everybody forgetting clearly only existed to facilitate that scene. Because you know how we just got that scene with Leon and the guys, and he was like, a week ago, we all remembered you all at once, so we knew you were going to show up again. That is the last time that people forgetting Sora, Donald, and Goofy will ever be mentioned.
Really?
Yes, in this game or any other game. That is the last time that will ever come up. Even though we're going to meet a lot of characters that we knew in the last game.
Okay.
Plus,
but then again, they might be like, oh man, I don't want him to know that we forgot him.
That plot point, which is kind of important...
doesn't come up.
It was affected 2 scenes, only one of which had any significance of any kind. Plus, like, I just want you to think of the implications of this, right? I'm going to slightly paraphrase a section from this guy called Gogglebob. He has, like, a blog, and he did this series of blog posts called Kingdom Hearts Explained. I'm going to kind of paraphrase a little bit from that because he explains it better than I could. If anybody listening to this right now has already played all of these games and you don't need to dodge spoilers, I highly recommend you check out you check out his blog in general, but check out his Kingdom Hearts Explained stuff. It's pretty amazing. I don't agree with everything that he has to say, but it's pretty on point in general. But anyway, to read a slightly paraphrased bit from his post. Thanks to Sora's efforts, all of the destroyed worlds are reformed during the finale of Kingdom Hearts 1. When Sora encounters Mushu, because we'll be going to Mulan World, that's the next place we'll be going to, he remembers Sora from their previous adventure. Mushu, if you will recall, was a summon, and we were told that these summons were people who lingered on his crystals after their world was destroyed. So he and the other summons must also remember the destruction of their worlds. However, no one else is wandering around shell-shocked at the thought of having been plunged into hell for an indeterminate amount of time, so it's assumed that everyone else on the destroyed planets simply doesn't remember the Heartless invasion and subsequent annihilation. So, Sora's mother, in Kingdom Hearts 1, calls Sora to dinner. Sora, dinner's ready, come on down. But he's already left to visit the island on a boat in a storm. He and Riku are sucked off the planet, the Heartless destroy the world, nothingness, then the world gets undestroyed, but Sora and Riku stay off the planet. Everyone is back and fine and normal on Destiny Islands, except Sora and Riku are just gone. Kairi is back on Destiny Islands at its reformation, though, so it's possible that, and feel free to interrupt me during this if you want to, if you have something you want to throw in.
I have nothing to add right now.
I'm just saying if you do, go right ahead. So it's possible she tells Riku and Sora's parents about the fact that, yes, your sons are missing, but they're on a magical journey through space on a ship made of gummy, with a talking dog and duck searching for a warrior king mouse. And they saved our world, with a key. So the parents are gonna have to assume their kids are dead, right? They probably drowned in the storm, never gonna find a body. A week later, the events of Chain of Memories occur, and Sora is erased from everyone's memories throughout the entire universe. So Mr. and Mrs. Sora's parents look longingly into their lost child's room, still grieving, trying to muscle through funeral arrangements and talking to the police, and then poof, no memory of ever having a child. What's all this teenager stuff doing in this room? No idea. Weren't we gonna have kids? No, I guess that never came together. Why are we such close friends with Riku's parents? I guess we just like hearing stories about their kid. It's a shame we never had one of our own. And then, nearly a year later, during the opening of Kingdom Hearts 2, as recounted by Kairi and Leon on 2 separate planets, everyone just suddenly remembers Sora again. Oh. By Zeus, we have a son, and we forgot him for a year, and he's missing. What is going on?
Oh no. Oh no.
So that's the end of my paraphrase there. So, now here's the thing that he doesn't note. You can extend that to Kairi too. She comes back, and everyone figures that she saw Sora and Riku die in that because they don't remember the world getting blown up by Heartless.
Yeah.
They just remember a horrible tsunami-type storm last night, and then, everybody was fine the next morning. So they figure that she saw Sora and Riku die, and she's been traumatized, so they put her in counseling, but suddenly she forgets Sora, and everyone else does. So why was Kairi in counseling again? So I guess my point is that all of these memory shenanigans that don't make sense happened just to get a dramatic and sad scene with Kairi, right? Because I swear, other than that one mention from Leon, it will never, ever come up again. Even Kairi won't bring it up when we see her later in the game. But, I mean, think about it. Isn't the way more tragic story the one in which everyone thinks Kairi is crazy? She keeps insisting that Sora and Riku are going to come back, and no one listens. They try to send her to grief counseling, but she isn't responsive. She gets ostracized by her friends, but she doesn't care because she's so sure that Sora and Riku will be back, just like Sora promised, and then she'll be vindicated. And then, instead, our Kairi scene at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, 1 year later, could play out like this.
Hey, Sora. School started back today. I know you're not too sad about missing that, but I don't know. For some reason, I just found myself out here yesterday thinking, there's no way he'll miss the first day of school, right? Any other day, maybe, but the first day, he's always there. I don't know why I bother getting my hopes up, though. Every month, I come up with some other excuse. Oh, he won't miss Christmas. He won't miss his birthday. He won't miss my birthday. At first, I was so sure. I didn't care that everyone said I was crazy. I didn't care that everyone else said you and Riku drowned in that storm. Because I was so sure that one day I'd walk out here and I'd see the two of you swimming in the ocean like nothing had ever happened. But it's been a whole year. I know you promised you'd come back, but... Keyblades, spaceships, princesses of heart. Maybe they're right. Maybe you did die that night. Maybe I am just crazy.
So, I don't know, but I feel like if we're going to invent a plot point to create a scene where it's like, oh, look at this melancholy thing where Kairi's kind of sad, aren't we overlooking the really obvious opportunity for drama here?
I can't argue with it.
So, none of it just, I don't know. It's just a weird thing where they go out of their way to make this odd addition to the lore that really doesn't matter, and they clearly just did it to have that dramatic scene with Kairi, and they've overlooked something that's way more emotionally effective. But regardless, I had to wait to talk about that until we'd had that scene with Leon.
Okay.
One of the other big problems with the Roxas sequence is that it can't control its tone. This is pretty obvious, and you kind of saw it while we were doing it, but it's got kind of like 3 major plot points that it's going for. And one of the other big problems with it that kind of relates to those 3 plot points I'll get to in a second is that the audience is faster than the characters. And you saw this. You figured out, oh, it's a fake world, like almost immediately. Building beaches, data, oh, it's in the Matrix.
Yeah.
I got it. You figured that out after like 3 scenes. and the game doesn't go, it's in a computer for like 2 more hours, right?
Yeah.
So the player...
See, the thing is, it was having a role reversal because I thought I'd figured it out, and then it kept dragging on, and I was sitting there thinking, like, maybe I'm overlooking something.
No, right?
No.
It just... So, like, the audience, because, like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And I have this in my notes. Like, you're playing directly into my notes. The audience is confused about what is happening and why, but they still know more than Roxas does. So they don't know enough to be like, yes, I understand the situation. I know what's going on. I'm invested. But they still know more than Roxas, so the result is just frustration and boredom. The audience doesn't have a complete enough understanding of the situation, so there's little to no dramatic irony at play here. You know, so you can't go like, oh, well, knowing that it's all inside of a computer, you know, then there's the dramatic irony where you're like, you know, oh man, all them talking about, you know, summer vacation and freedom and stuff. No, because you don't get any of that until afterwards, and it's 4 hours long, and it's how you open your game. You can't do that. A lot of people really, really hate that Roxas sequence. A lot of Kingdom Hearts fans love it. A lot of people's favorite Kingdom Hearts character is Roxas. We're gonna be seeing a lot more of him, so it's not the, let me put it this way. Now you know Roxas was in the organization.
Yeah.
Remember how I kept trying to dodge anything related to 358 over 2 days? It's the Roxas game.
Oh.
You play as Roxas while he's in the organization.
Cool.
It's the events in the year between. That's kind of what the 358 days thing is referring to. But anyway, knowing that Roxas is inside the Matrix does little to change the audience's experience with the story beyond frustrating them. The audience is just enough steps ahead to know what's happening, but they don't understand why it's happening, so they ultimately just wind up frustrated. And like I said initially, the other main problem with the prologue is its lack of focus. The opening seems to be out to accomplish 3 different things. There's 3 different plot points that it's kind of trying to follow. Number 1, pose the question, where is Sora? Number 2, create a nostalgic and ultimately melancholy representation of the final dog days of summer. Number 3, create a mystery about the digital Twilight Town and slowly reveal who Roxas is. These are kind of the 3 main beats that it wants to hit. The problem is that all of this stuff fights with each other. None of these elements complement each other, and it's often not clear which of them we're supposed to care about at any given point. The game opens with this big CGI cutscene recapping the events of the first game, and between each day in this sequence, we get a little reminder of Sora's presence with those flashbacks, right? The player probably approaches the where is Sora thread with the most interest and focus, since that's the natural question. The second that the CGI cutscene ends, you're already saying, huh? What? And then the second you take control of Roxas, you go, wait, I'm this guy now? Where's Sora? That's the first reaction from the player. That's the thing they're reaching out for. Game, tell me, where is Sora? What's going on? The game refuses to give you anything for that until almost the very end. And even once you do start playing as Sora, you're still kind of going, huh?
Yeah, it didn't make it very clear at all.
Here's a question. How did that pod get from Chain of Memories to that basement? How did it get from Castle Oblivion, I mean? Remember when it moved from the top of the castle to the bottom floor for Riku to see it? And I was like, if you're impressed by that thing's ability to move around, you ain't seen nothing yet. It got to a completely different world. Without ever apparently having to turn it off and pull Sora out of it. Incredible. The game focuses much more heavily on the other 2 elements, the Dog Days of Summer element and the Matrix element, even though the first thing, the where is Sora, will probably be the most pressing thing in the player's mind. And again, that's way more important in games than it is in movies and books, because you've got to make the player want to do the things that they're doing. So you've got to figure out what the player wants at any given time and let them do that. That's easy to do in some games, because like in Doom, players want to rip and tear. So let them rip and tear, it's easy. When it's narrative driven, it's harder to pin down sometimes. But nobody upon booting this up for the first time is caught up with the drama of Roxas, Hayner, Pence, and Olette. Some people have really latched onto these characters afterwards, but nobody booting this up for the first time in 2006 was like, oh yeah, I'm real into this, man. Oh man, the ball's coming out of the wall. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, this is gripping.
Wait, that never was explained, really.
That was a glitch in the Matrix.
Is that what
Yes,
that was going for?
that was a glitch in the Matrix. That was what all that static was. That was a glitch. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't even get it until like a second time, and you're like, oh yeah, this is all in the Matrix. Because you were like, is it in the Matrix? That seems too obvious now, because this has been going on for 2 hours, and I still haven't gotten clear confirmation. Maybe I'm overthinking it. So, disregarding the first point, let's pretend like Sora has nothing to do with this. The other 2 plots still have their own issues. The Dog Days motif lacks a plot. It's simply a theme, a basic idea that drives the actions of the characters. Their actions are kind of lazy and laid back and aimless, which doesn't make for a good opening of a video game. The players probably won't immediately understand what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be, look, a melancholy, nostalgic look at summer vacation. But, like, unless you're making The Sandlot, and it's like, here's what this is, people aren't gonna grab that right away. Plus, like, The Sandlot, it's like, oh, baseball, summer, you know, friends,
This
cool.
one, like, to be honest, I didn't even realize it was, like, summer vacation or anything for a little bit until they were like, oh, school's coming.
And part of it is, like, it's Twilight Town, so it's not like, oh, look, blistering hot summer. It's got this, like, you know, kind of like beaming, like it's all constantly on the horizon. In the area that they call the Sandlot, clearly someone said, what's a summer thing? Sandlot, kids going and playing sports in the Sandlot with their bats hitting each other. I get it, like they changed the sport to be a competitive thing so it will work within gameplay, but the Sandlot isn't like a scrappy lot the kids go play in. It's like the park.
Yeah.
Where they hold tournaments. And then like in like the second, like one of the last days they mentioned, oh, there's a fair coming up. That's like, why didn't you mention that earlier? That's
that
like
never
especially
comes back.
No, they mentioned it one time. Why wasn't that brought up immediately? There's a fair in 3 days or whatever. Even if you don't actually get to go to it, you tell Japanese people there's a fair, they go, ah, summer, got it. Why wasn't there a fireworks show? You show fireworks to anybody from around the world, they go, oh, summer, got it.
They could have at least talked about it, like, the fireworks show is going to be tonight.
Yeah, it's like, and then, but regardless of all of that, then you have the Matrix plot. The second that you go, oh, this is inside of a computer, you can't care about any of that.
No.
Like, you know, you get something is interfering with the summer vacation of Roxas and his friends. First, it's weird white monsters, and then a guy in a black coat. People are talking about building beaches. There's lines of code appearing around things. Weird glitches are happening. What's going on? Is this inside of a computer? The second that you say that, the chance of the player getting connected to the Dog Days plot is lost, because they know it's fake, at least to some extent. Like, you were asking, are all of the other people fake as well?
Because the thing is, I was hoping you were going to say, yes, they're real.
And, like, we're all trapped in here.
Because then I was like, okay, then I can feel invested. But then you're like, no, they're all simulations. I'm like, oh.
I didn't say that, because I knew...
You didn't, but...
Because I was like, if I'd said that...
in more words, like, more or less, that's what I took from it.
You get... And plus, like, even if I hadn't said that, by the time you're in a couple days into this, and all of the other characters have not witnessed any of the weird things going on, it's like, okay, well, why are all of them getting controlled and not Roxas? Why are all of them getting frozen for every single thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, once you know that it's fake, to some extent, you're too focused on those aspects of the story to care. There's a conspiracy afoot, the player says. If there's a conspiracy afoot, then how can they care about the rivalry between Roxas and Cypher? How can they care about the gang hanging out on a hillside and watching the sunset? There's like, what's going on with Diz and Ansem, and are we inside of a computer? Who is Roxas? So why would you care about any of that stuff? So, look, here's my point. We're going over all of this, right? Like last spring or so, like more than a year ago now, I was thinking about this sequence, and I thought about all that stuff I just told you. I was like, let's break this down.
Yeah.
I'm studying story. I'm taking a screenwriting class. I'm gonna try and look at this scientifically. So I broke it down to those 3 base stories that I just communicated to you, right? And I said, okay, well, you need to focus, to make this work, you'd have to focus on the Where is Sora storyline more, because that's what the player wants to know. You'd have to find some way to balance all these out so that the Matrix plot doesn't overpower the Dog Days of Summer plot, so it doesn't distract from it. You'd have to find some way to make that Dog Days motif work within the Where is Sora plot so that you would engage the player with the story, but still hit the, oh, we're hanging out on a hill and eating ice cream and stuff that you want to hit, right? So I said to myself, well, there you go. I'm now gonna wash my hands of this matter. I've fixed Kingdom Hearts. I'm a genius. Just rearrange these, easily rearrange these things, and you fix the story. So I walked away from it for about 5 minutes. And then I said, that was really pretentious. That's really pretentious to just go, story is easy. You just, oh, I've broken it down to these basic components and rearranged it. Ha 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 ha. I know how to write. I've fixed everything, right? Yeah. That's not fair. It's easy to break it down to base components like that, but I'm sure that, actually trying to write, individual lines of dialogue and scenes and all that stuff, trying to balance those 3 things out, I'm sure that actually doing that would be really hard.
Yeah.
Now, it's not just that I'm sure, like, I'm speculating. I am sure, because I did it. I have, Joey, this is the moment where you realize you're business partners with a crazy man.
Uh-huh.
I currently have a 50, 60 page long summary of a comprehensive rewrite of the entire opening of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Like, just the opening?
Just the opening.
Oh.
Just everything up to the title card.
Oh, no.
Now, to be fair, a lot of those pages are just my own notes and rambling to myself to figure stuff out. I haven't started the actual formal script yet. I had hoped to have that script finished by the time that this playthrough happened, but college kept me busy, so that hasn't happened yet. But yeah, I have pretty much the entire story outlined. It's all done. I'm gonna, change it some more. It's just kind of a first draft. But yeah, I'm going to write a formal game design scenario script of the entire beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2 with restrictions. Like a speedrun, I'm going to do it with restrictions.
What are the restrictions?
Budget. I'm not going to ask for any new areas or new effects or anything like that outside of a handful of things. The only things that I'm really doing are I'm going to give us a proper sand lot where, we don't have just like a sand park. Yeah. It's actually a vacant lot where kids would go. I'm going to ask for nighttime variants of 2 areas and fireworks. And in exchange, I'm going to cut a number of the digital effects because they give away too much. And we're going to cut all the VV fights because they don't make sense anyway. So hopefully the budgetary animation... this isn't how budget works, but hopefully the budget that was going towards those animations and stuff can instead be reallocated to making nighttime lighting variants and 1 extra area that I really want. Now, that's not how budget works, but whatever. I don't know how much they spent on this game at the time. And also, again, even though I'm doing this rewrite, this is in no way to go like, I'm smarter, I'm better than the people who write Kingdom Hearts 2. I was just joking earlier. Like, I'm doing this with literally 10 years of hindsight and an unlimited amount of time. I started writing this a year ago. These guys had to write all this crap in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So I'm in no way going, oh yeah, I'm gonna fix Kingdom Hearts, because I would have gotten fired if I was trying to do this. And plus, like, whatever I write, I'm sure it's going to be a huge mess. It's probably not going to be that good. It's really more just practice and an exercise for myself, and to see, because people scrutinize that sequence so much, some people hate it, some people really love it and really get inundated with those characters, that, since there's such intense love and hate on both ends, I thought, how would you make this into something that works better within the context of the larger story, because I'm not changing anything else about the rest of the game. The only thing, I guess that's not true. The only thing I would be changing is I would be removing the line where Leon goes, "We all forgot about you," and Sora's reaction, because we're dropping that plot point, obviously, so we can have much better Kairi scenes, because I love sad Kairi. Why do I like Naminé so much? She's sad and lonely all the time. Now I'm going to write Kairi to also be sad and lonely all the time. This is not just a fan fiction. You must understand. I am following strict screenplay guidelines.
You mentioned writing your own thing, I was sitting here like, don't say a fan fiction joke. Don't say a fan fiction joke. Don't reference fan fiction.
I mean, whatever. It is maybe a kind of fan fiction.
Post it on fanfiction.net.
Oh, this isn't going on fanfiction.net.
/frustrated Jacob.
This will go on like Google Docs or whatever once I finish it in 3 years. I don't know.
It'll be a Patreon exclusive reward.
Since I'm trying to make it a specific, trying to write it within the structure of how a script would work, because I'm studying how to write screenplays, just adapting it to kind of a video game format. And since I'm trying to keep it within the parameters of the budget, and I'm trying to keep it in canon with everything else, I'm basically just changing lines and characterization and stuff. I hope that in some way this can surpass fan fiction and instead become some kind of experiment. But if everybody wants to say that I've just written the world's most ludicrous fanfiction, other than whatever that Smash thing is.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think it can get more ludicrous than that.
I guess, is Sonic 2 considered fanfiction?
I don't think so. I think Sonic 2 is in its own... I think Sonic OC stories and animation, they're
transcendent?
They're transcendent, yeah.
Alright.
Because it's not just that. I have seen some stuff, my dude.
Well, there you go, Joey. Now you realize that you're locked in to doing YouTube stuff with an actually insane person.
Oh boy. Could be worse.
I guess it could, but there you go. Now everybody knows why this took so damn long. In addition to the 50 pages of notes, I've been rewriting the opening of Kingdom Hearts 2. My plan is that whenever I finish it, I obviously just talked about a lot of kind of my general overview of it. Mm-hmm. My plan is that once I finish a first draft of the actual script, I'll make a document available and I'll make a video on the actual channel and say hey, here it is. Here's kind of my thought process behind some things and why I did it. Please tell me why I'm wrong. I mean, for real. Like I would want criticism of it. It's not like, look at me, I'm smart. I want people. This is practice.
I mean, that's the only way you can really grow is learning from your mistakes.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so yeah, next time we'll move on and actually play more Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
and I
won't spend 20 minutes in this one spot.
I won't have a huge block of notes like that for probably about like 20 hours of game time. It was just because we were in that opening and there was so much stuff to go through.
Yeah.
After this, we're going to be much smoother, unscripted sailing for quite some time.
All right.
But anyway, you've got to go because it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
I've got to go too because I have work I need. I guess I got to sleep and then I'll do work. That's probably more logical and healthy.
Probably.
I could stand to be better in both of those departments.